Look, there's somebody here who didn't notice a thing.
And didn't wake up. Baby Frankie, just 11 weeks old, she's already proved that she's made of extremely strong stuff.
Yeah, get this. While she was still inside her mum Gina's womb, she underwent revolutionary spinal surgery on the NHS for a condition which often leads to children being born paralysed from the waist down. We're going to be talking to the family in just a moment. First, though, here's Dr. Hilary. Hilary, can you explain what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at 19 weeks, Gina and Dan were told that their unborn baby had spina bifida. That meant that there was a fault in the development of the baby's spinal cord, which had left a wide gap in the vertebrae. To access the baby's spine, the surgeon cut through Gina's abdomen, uterus and into the amniotic sac that held the baby while she was just 24 weeks pregnant. One of the surgical team had to hold the baby in place so her back was out of the sac and her face down in the amniotic fluid so she wouldn't breathe. The repair was carried out on the baby's spine, and then an artificial skin substitute was applied to cover the wound because it had been so large. The sac, uterus and abdomen were sewn back up, and just a week after the operation, Gina was released from hospital.
Just a week after the operation? It's extraordinary.
So here's Gina and Dad Dan and baby Frankie. Gina, what an extraordinary operation. You were describing it's a bit like having a caesarean.
Yeah, but it's the cut's slightly higher up, and then they cut through your stomach, through to your uterus, bring it up so they can get to the baby easier, and then do her operation and pop it all back in, really.
Absolutely amazing. Dan, were you watching? Were you allowed to watch?
No, I wasn't allowed to go in for the surgery.
But the operation was filmed, wasn't it? So presumably you've watched it back, and that must be a very strange experience.
It was strange, but it was quite nice to see how many people put so much hard work into fixing her, really, because there was about 22 people in the room operating on us.
The idea of doing it, where did that come from? Because the initial diagnosis, I'm sure, must have been heartbreaking for both of you, but then to find this miraculous surgery.
We looked online about spina bifida just to get some information, and it was one of the first things that popped up, that they do it in America. So we spoke to our consultant at Derriford, and he was happy to go along with it and help us get there.
Dr. Hillary's just joined us on the sofa. When a baby is diagnosed with spina bifida, and it was during the 20-week scan, what is the usual outcome?
Well, 60% of parents decide that they will terminate the pregnancy because of the risk of, they know that there's a risk of paralysis of the lower legs, of bowel and bladder incontinence and severe complications. So it does have a huge impact when that diagnosis is made in the early stage of pregnancy.